Good morning. Do you like my Christmas fit? I hope so, because this is all I'll be wearing for the next 2 days while you watch me. So it is Christmas Eve and I have nothing I have to do, and I have nothing I have to do on Christmas Day but go to my family's house for 2 hours. So I thought this is a great time to read a bunch of books. Since Friday, I have read 4 Christmas books, and while some of them, chef's kiss, some of them, well, we shall not mention those. But I am very excited to keep reading Christmas books to stay in the Christmas mood. So that's what we're gonna do for the next 2 days. We're gonna just read a bunch of Christmas books and drink a bunch of peppermint hot chocolate coffee and eat a charcuterie board that I bought. Well, that I'm gonna make with stuff that I bought. And we're just gonna have a jolly old time. But let's see what's on the TBR. For physical books, I have Love in Winter Wonderland, which I just bought in my last book haul. And I have Seasons of Love, which I bought last year. I ended up reading the second book in this standalone series, which follows, I think, this character's ex-girlfriend. And I liked the writing. I didn't like the plot. So I'm gonna give this one a chance because I think the characterization was very well done and the writing was very queer. So the fact that it says it's time to make the Yuletide gay, facts, very facts, factual. So these are my physical books. So for ebooks, we have 8 Days of Christmas by Rielle Knight, which I know nothing about. I saw the author post about it on Threads. And then we have The Naughty List by Octavia Grant. I've heard a lot about Octavia Grant books and I just haven't read any. So I think this is a good time to read like a thriller novella. If I'm being honest, I don't like novellas. Like I don't even, if I decide to read a novella, I don't even rate it because I know for a fact that I don't like novellas. So if I don't like that novella, I know it's because it's a novella. I know it's because it's too short and it felt too rushed, and I don't know why I keep subjecting myself to that, but I figure the thriller might be a better novella than a romance. Or is it a horror? It's either horror or thriller, but either way, you're killing people real quick and that's okay. But like making people love, have sex, resolve issues within like 110 pages? No. Next we have Love on the Christmas Express by Mia Caldwell. And then last, by Brenda Jackson, which this will be my first Brenda Jackson ever, is A Madaris Bride for Christmas. So those are all the Christmas books we have loaded up. I've been reading a lot of Christmas, so I don't know if I'm gonna get tired of it at some point. However, if I do not get tired of it, then that's all I'll be reading. So that's my lineup for these next 2 days. It's actually surprisingly hot. It's 72 degrees in here and we have our thermostat set for 71. So that means it's hotter than we asked it to be. So yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna do about that. I don't know if I'm gonna end up staying in these even though they're so Christmassy or what. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna get cuddled up in a blanket whether I'm hot or not. I'm gonna turn on some Christmas lo-fi or Christmas jazz and then I'm gonna start reading. And we're gonna see how fast we get through books or what we're feeling about books and how it's gonna go. 35% into the book and I got hungry, so I ordered sushi. You'll see some eel rolls and a spicy salmon roll. But this book is laugh out loud funny. Like, I am dying. I'm enjoying it so much, and it's flowing, like it's flying by because it's just so freaking funny. The characters are Kendrick and Shanice, and Kendrick is like this hot nerd who gets nervous and kind of just says what's on his mind, and Shanice is kind of like corny but in the best way possible, and the way that they like bounce off of each other with banter is just top notch. But I'm gonna watch some YouTube, I'm gonna eat my sushi, and then I'm gonna get back into it. It's 12:57, so by the time I start reading again, it's probably gonna be like 1:40, 1:30, 1:40. I should be done by this book probably by 4, and then I'll have enough time to read another book. So we'll see what we choose next. Okay, now that I've eaten, I can actually tell you what the book is about. So 8 Dates of Christmas follows Shanice and Kendrick. They started off by emailing each other because their companies were working together. And then by chance, they ended up meeting in person and realizing how attractive the other one was and that they had chemistry. But he hates Christmas and she loves Christmas, so she doesn't want to date him. So they decide to just be friends. But then Kendrick is in charge of his work's holiday parties this year, and his boss wanted to set him up with her niece. So to get out of that, he told her that he had a girlfriend and that the girlfriend's name was Shanice, and now Shanice is his fake girlfriend for the holidays. And that is what the book is about, and it is absolutely adorable. I'm only at the like start of the book. I know I said I'm like 35% in, but we're just getting to them spending time together one-on-one. So I'm excited to see how the relationship progresses. So far, it seems to be the perfect pace and the perfect amount of pages for the story that they're trying to play out. But time shall tell. It is a bit of a short book. It's only like 250 pages, but I think that's enough time to convey the story that she's trying to convey, the author's trying to convey. It does deal with some heavy themes like grief and cancer and things along those lines, but so far it's being handled very well, and it's not overshadowing the Christmas aspect of the story, at least not yet. And even if it does a little bit, I think that's okay, because that's the reality of Christmas. A lot of the times it's not a happy time for everybody. Some people have to deal with some real things like missing family members or spending the holidays alone. So as much as we like to think of Christmas as this all-encompassing happy holiday thing, I think there's some real pain and suffering that happens around this time that we should remember, because this is the time of giving, and it should be a reminder that some people need a little bit more than we do. But I'm 35% in. I got water because that peppermint hot chocolate coffee thing I tried to do, disgusting. I think it's the peppermint, because I like mochas. I like peppermint mochas, but the chocolate wasn't coming through the coffee. The only thing that was coming through was the peppermint. So it was kind of like peppermint coffee, and that just tasted weird. So probably when I'm done this book, I'm just gonna go to 7-Eleven and get the peppermint mocha that I love and just suck it up and just deal with the fact that I can't have a peppermint mocha to dinner during Christmas. I either have to have peppermint hot chocolate or I have to have coffee. I cannot have both. But I'm excited to get reading again. I'll check back in probably when I'm done the book, unless something like crazy happens. But I just want to fall into the book, and there's about 2.5 hours left of reading, and I just want to lay in a heap and complete that 2.5 hours and then see where I'm at after that. It took forever forever. It's 6:30, but I finished. Honestly, before I talk about the book, let's just talk about the journey. I wanted sugar cookies because this girl in this book could bake, and she was making eggnog cookies. So I wanted sugar cookies, so I left the house on the whole journey, went to Tim Hortons, couldn't get sugar cookies because they were closing. Went to the store, didn't feel like buying all the ingredients to make sugar cookies, so I tried to buy those Pillsbury already prepackaged sugar cookies. They didn't have any, so I bought peanut butter and chocolate chip, as you know. Yeah. So I did all of that, and then I just got lost on Instagram again. So it's 6:30, but I finished the book. It was actually really, really good. I really enjoyed it. I was literally laughing out loud multiple points throughout the book. The characters are absolutely hilarious, and I like all of the connections. I think it's setting up for another book. I'm not sure. It was kind of like they were bringing in a lot of the side characters' personal lives and what they're going through. Like, her brother was having issues in his marriage, and her best friend had like a dark past, and I don't know if that's going to play out in other books. I feel like if it doesn't play out in other books, I don't know necessarily why it was relevant, but overall it was a very enjoyable read, and honestly I would read it again. I will say this is something I don't like about Christmas books, and it's definitely a me thing. But in Christmas books, everything gets tied up in a nice little bow right around Christmas time. And like all of the family issues and all of this other stuff is just resolved because it's Christmas. Even though we don't like really get into the nitty gritty of it. And the only book I've read thus far that didn't do that was Hate Him by Chandra David, I think. That's my favorite book I've read this year. I'm buying a paper book copy because I want to own it so that I can continue to read it. But that book honestly had so many layers of issues within it, and they were not instantly resolved, and they weren't tied into a bow, and there was a lot of heavy conversations that had to take place, and it still wasn't perfect. But pretty much the main character Kendra had a very bad relationship with her family, with her parents and her brother Van, and that doesn't get fixed by the end of the book, and I really like that. So that's probably my only problem with Christmas books, is I just don't think everything should be okay just because it's Christmas. But maybe that's just the bitter Betty in me. Maybe it's just because I'm weird and I like tragic stuff sometimes. I don't know. All I know is it was a good book, other than it all being tied up perfectly. So the group I'm a part of, I've talked about it in previous videos, Black Girls Read Too. They're starting a read-a-thon from today until January 5th. That's starting at 8 p.m. So I think I'm going to wait till 8 p.m. to keep reading, so that way I can count whatever I'm reading towards that read-a-thon. But I need to figure out what I'm going to read next. The problem with reading a paperback is I have to be like sitting up, or in a way where I can turn the pages. With the Kindle, I can just be laying down and just do a little swipey swipe. So I think I'm going to stick with the Kindle, but I don't know what I'm going to read next. I decided to read A Madaris Bride for Christmas, and I'm reading it, and like I'm only on chapter 2, and they've mentioned like 8 couples, and like they've given little short like 3-sentence paragraphs about these couples' relationships, and I'm so confused. I'm like, there's a lot of information, and like I get it, he comes from a big family, the main lead, male lead, so it's like, okay, obviously these people are important, but why do I need to like, know all of this. So then I go and look at the book on Goodreads. It's the 20th book in a series. There are 19 books before this of other couples. All of these couples they're talking about that are involved in this little book are from other books. Usually I can read a standalone romance series book out of order. That's perfectly okay. That's normal. This one, I feel like I've missed so much, and I feel like I'm supposed to know things about the character from his appearance in the other books that I don't know. So I don't know what I'm gonna do. We're gonna keep trucking through and reading it, because so far it's good. It's just confusing. And like I thought I got through all the couples. Let me read it. Let me show you how this is. He and D'Angelo D'Amelio had met years ago when a close Madaris friend, Colonel Ashton Sinclair, had introduced everyone to his cousin Mackenzie Stanfield, an attorney in Oklahoma. Mac, as she was often called, was a partner in a law firm with two other women, Samaria D'Amelio and Peyton Mahoney. Mac had married Lee's cousin Luke a few years back. Samaria, who was Angelo's sister, was married to Lee's cousin Blade, and almost 2 years ago, Angelo had married Peyton. Half American and half Italian, Angelo and Samaria came from a family dynasty of attorneys in New York. Do you see what I'm talking? You see what I'm talking about? I'm lost. That's so many names and so many couples, and I'm just really hoping that they don't make an appearance because I'm lost. And I'm 8% in. Like I literally said I'm on like chapter 2, and that paragraph has happened multiple times. So I feel like this is gonna be a confusing journey. I feel like I'm gonna appreciate the female lead's point of view more because she's a new character, and like her, I am new to this world. But Lee, every time Lee shows up, he brings a court of friends with him. Like his crew runs deep. Yeah, hopefully this stops. Okay, so there's like sheiks. Let me explain the book. So anyway, I can't really explain the book because I don't know what it's about. But so far, the guy Lee, the main guy, he runs, like he makes hotels. Like he not builds, like he's the creator of hotels. Like it's his idea, like the Hiltons. And he's about to build a big one in Paris. And he's inviting a bunch of people to invest. But all of the people he's inviting, he kind of knows because they married someone who dated somebody who came to America who did this. Even though they're sheiks from Dubai, they're all connected. One of them is like a cousin to him who goes by Monty Madaris, even though his name is like Yasir. This is what I'm talking about. Anyway, yeah, so yeah. So yeah. Let's just get back to reading. We're just stressing ourselves out trying to explain how complicated this is. I'm about to cry. Do you see this? I'm stressed. I feel like I'm reading a textbook, a history textbook, and I'm gonna be tested, and I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm gonna fail. Because I don't know who nobody's being repeated. These aren't repeat couples. These are new stories. I know for a fact I have not heard of Johari, Kyle and Kamara, friggin', where are the other people? Johari, Sheik, Valderman, I've heard of Yasir, Thorne, Westmoreland, Delaney, Mitch, Gina, Trevor, Dex. Do you understand the amount of characters that have been introduced in the first 10% of this book? I think I'm gonna make a list. I'm gonna show it to you guys to show you all of the names that have come up in the first 10% of this book. I'm gonna do it. Okay, are you ready for this? Slade Madaris, Jake Madaris, Mitch Farrell, Kyle Garwood, Sheik Rashid Valderman, Jamal Ari Yasir, Delaney Westmoreland, Jake Whispering, Diamond, Kamar Garwood, Gina Farrell, Ashton Sinclair, Mackenzie Stanfield, Tamari D'Amelio, Peyton Mahoney, Justin Loran, Thorne Westerland, Steve Westerland, Johar Waldeman, Dex, and Trevor. 21 people within 10% of the book. And I'm not saying like, oh, her, like, it, no, there's, no. That's crazy. I have a list now though, and I can make little connecting dots like that board, like who's with who. I'm pretty sure I know who's with who. So I think I'm a little bit more prepared. But I don't know if you're supposed to pay attention to this, but the problem is he's like currently at dinner with like 7 of these people. I hope we get to a point where nobody's involved but the 2 of them. Like, I hope we get to a point where not all these people have to be in the story. Oh my god, that one's actually really good. The biscotti one. Merry Christmas. It's Christmas Day. I ended up staying up till 3 a.m. yesterday. I'm still not done the book. I ended up halfway through switching to Trick Shot by Kayla Grosse. And I was reading that for, I would say like an hour or so when I realized it's just smut. There's nothing else, just smut. Like, I'm not saying there's not plot. There's some underlying conversations, but it's just mostly smut, which was a nice break from this brain teaser that was the other book. But yeah, I needed a break from the smut, so I went back to a Madaris Bride for Christmas. But this will be the last Christmas book. If I do continue to read today after my family dinner, then I'm probably gonna read something that's not romance, because I am quite sick of that. But yeah, I'm gonna finish this book up and then I will give you a full breakdown of my thoughts and feelings. I did it. I finally finished the story. And can I just say, this was like dropping into season 5 of Hollyoaks. And if you don't know what that is, it's a completely unhinged British soap opera where every wedding someone dies and there's like 10 serial killers that live in this small town. And I say that because when we were getting the back history of some of these couples, there was plane crashes, there were serial killers, there was FBI agents, and even this book took a turn towards the thriller aspect. It was not a Christmas book. I will start by saying that. There was no Christmas in this book at all. They got married on Christmas Day, but that was the epilogue. There was no Christmas. So I did not read a Christmas book. I read a romance. And I'm not gonna lie to you, I kind of want to go back and watch the 5 seasons before this to see the 20 other couples. But I also don't, because I feel like I'm gonna need like a freaking whiteboard, because the person who's trying to set everybody up is the great grandmother, which means that there's parents and then a grandmother and then her. And while I was trying to figure out the lineage, the math wasn't mathing, because Lee was in his 30s and he was a great grandchild, but the great grandmother was only 96. You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? That's not mathing for me. Maybe I'm wrong. But it's time to get ready for Christmas dinner. I think I'm gonna end the vlog here. So we got through like 2.5 books. We read A Madaris Bride for Christmas, 8 Dates of Christmas, and we started Trick Shot. That's a lot for like a 24-hour period. That was some good reading. I think I want to watch horror movies when I come back, because I'm quite honestly over Christmas. And then maybe tomorrow or the 27th we'll be ready to like move in a new direction. I want to finish Happy Place and I want to read one more book before the end of the year, so that's going to be my focus. But anyway, thank you. I hope your holidays were great. If you celebrate Christmas or if you celebrate something else, I hope these days off that we get were very joyful for you and full of good times and family and friends and good food. And I hope that your next book is a 5-star read. But thank you so much for joining me, and see you in the new year.